Hey YouTube, it's me here with another video for you folks. So today's topic is how has being a security guard changed me? Um, you know, by no means am I a police officer, and I don't ever want to give anybody the illusion that I'm trying to be a police officer. But having said that, I'm starting to get that police mentality being a guard. And when I say police mentality, what I mean is um, people are starting to become more and more suspicious to me. You know, when I'm at home and somebody rides by on their bike, I start to wonder, well, why is this guy riding around on his bike? Or why does he have a hoodie on? Or is he up to no good? Um, so in that regards, I'm starting to be more suspicious, more vigilant, if you will. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, that's left to your interpretation, but it is changing me, that's for sure. Sometimes I can see why cops tend to be suspicious of everything because they've seen everything and they've heard every excuse and they've seen that criminal mentality. And so it's starting to rub off on me. When I work in certain areas where it's high crime and I do respond a lot, just like, for example, the other night I got two calls. I got one call that says that somebody in Unit 142 is having a argument with somebody. Can you go check on that before we call the cops? And then there was an alarm going off inside of a house. They wanted me to see what that was all about. Um, and in the one instance, there was a fight going on between a husband and a wife, and man, he was beating her up. So I banged on the door, and he opened the door, and I had to confront him. And so I do see here and there things that officers do see, and I respond, and it changes me. Like, so now when I'm at home, I become suspicious, vigilant, hyper aware, and I hope it doesn't get worse, but it certainly is there. Um, I'm sorry, I'm looking at some notes right here. You know, the other thing that I could say about being a guard is I've learned a lot. I spend a lot of time listening to podcasts and how-to videos. I also keep up with the news more since I have so much free time. Gosh, man, I know everything that's going on, not in just our country, but other countries as well. So I've become more aware of road events. Like I said, I've learned things. Um, Another thing about being a guard for a while now is without my equipment on, and I don't know if other guards out there feel the same, but when I'm just living my everyday life, I feel naked without a vest on, without carrying any weapons on me. I absolutely feel naked. Like when I go to the mall and I see some, people talking trash, I'm like, it's okay. I can handle this. I have my vest. I've got my taser, my pepper spray. And then I think, well, wait a minute. Actually, I don't. So now I'm just left with my own two hands. And I do start to feel vulnerable and fearful. It's just weird. I'm just being real with you guys. It's an odd emotion. Like when I don't have my vest on, I feel naked. Like, man, I can get shot at any second. And it's a ridiculous way to think, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks that way. So, yeah, just again, it comes with the territory, I guess, when you're so used to being well protected and armed. And then when you strip that off because now you're living civilian everyday life, it definitely affects me. And again, I'm sure I'm not the only one out there. I'd be curious to hear from you guys. Do you feel the same way when you get off? When you punch out at the end of the day, do you feel vulnerable when you take off your gear? Or do you carry some gear with you? Like, I will say that for the most part, I carry pepper spray with me when I'm off duty, just in case. Sometimes I carry my taser, but that's about as far as it goes. So yeah, there you go. There's just some insight of how being a guard has changed me. In my next video, you're going to see me being hyper vigilant. Somebody's going to try to steal my dog, and I've set up, I think, 12 cameras at this point at my house, just because I'm so used to seeing bad things happen that I want my home to be protected. And you'll see a short video of people trying to steal my dog, some homeless people. But it goes to show you that sometimes being hyper vigilant is a good thing, because then you tend to respond more appropriately, and you tend to be able to see things when they happen. Like, for example, I taught emergency response for like 14 years, and I would respond so often when I was off the clock to emergencies, and people are like, how do you always respond to emergencies? I never see anything bad happening. And I would explain to them that, I teach the signs of choking, the signs of a heart attack, the signs of a stroke so often that I notice them when they happen. So I'll be at the mall and I'll see somebody and I'm like, wow, they're showing the symptoms of choking. And sure enough, they will be choking. And I will go over there and help them out. And a lot of people don't see those signs, or maybe they've taken one, let's say, CPR class, and after a month or two, it kind of leaves their mind and they don't recognize these symptoms. So I found myself responding more often because I tend to be more aware and see emergencies happen where other people might overlook them. Again, it's the same with the security industry. I tend to see things that are devious behavior more so than other people, so that's just something to take with a grain of salt, if you will. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Again, that's left to interpretation. I do like some aspects of it, but at other times it kind of bothers me. Like, man, why am I getting so tripped up over this guy riding a bike? Like, that never bothered me, but now he's riding a bike and all of a sudden he's suspicious to me. I will say that in a lot of areas that I work in, guys that are on bikes will generally have backpacks on, and in those backpacks are tools for breaking into vehicles or houses or weapons, or they're moving drugs. So, but it's not always the case. I mean, if you're in a good neighborhood, that doesn't always translate into something bad happening. So, anyways, guys, leave some comments if you care. I'd be curious to know how you have changed by being a guard, or maybe you're just entering the industry and you want to know, how is this going to affect me? Well, here's one opinion from one guy. So anyways, take care, guys.